Hi there, I'm Mihai, and I've been painting for 16 years and I still get scared not to ruin a painting. Not exactly the master painter I thought I'd become. So, when the anxiety train hits, I just stare at the canvas, look around this room, scroll through my phone, time flies by and nothing gets done. What's the solution? Two options. Quit, start painting. The first time fear really froze me was about 15 years ago. I wanted to paint a storm. I tried once, hated it, threw the painting away, and then I didn't paint for 6 months. Instead of pushing through, I ran away. Of course, I missed painting, and the frustration during the process is more than natural. If you push yourselves in terms of skill, frustration is inevitable when something doesn't work. But with time, things get easier. After that long break, I started again. Pro tip, don't throw paintings away. Overpaint them, start over, but don't quit. Even today, the same fear still shows up. I look at my works in progress and think they're too hard or I'll mess them up. Of course, that never actually happens, but the fear is still there. In my experience, it's better to make an intentional bad mark and start from there than to never paint at all. Sometimes it's even fun. It gives you a problem to solve. If you stop chasing perfection, mistakes become material. There's a book I recommend, Art and Fear by David Bales and Ted Orland. They tell the story of a class divided in two. One half had to make a single perfect pot, the other half had to make as many pots as possible. Guess which group made the better pot? Spoiler, it wasn't the perfect pot, people. Michael Jordan said it best. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I was trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed. He actually missed 12,345 shots. So, if you don't fail, you probably don't try, or you don't try hard enough. And do it with compassion for yourself. From this we can deduce, fear is not a bug, it's a feature. I probably heard this first from Alex Hormozy, and yes, I watch his clips because I need business skills to keep this studio alive. And that's when our sponsor comes in, me. If you want to support my work, you can find prints, original works, tote bags, and more at MihaiCotigaArt.com, link below. Thanks for keeping the lights on. End of commercial break. Think back. Scared to go to school one day? You probably went anyway. Scared to talk to someone you like, to speak in public, to make a big decision. You did it scared. Fear always shows up when something matters. So, when was the last time you were scared because something actually mattered? You need to be a psychopath not to fear anything. And you don't want that. Seneca said we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Think of how many times you lost sleep or stressed yourself out only to realize you have nothing to fear. Fear is your brain's way of saying the thing matters. The goal is not to eliminate it, the goal is to work with it. Recently, I read Kierkegaard's Fear and Trembling. Doesn't sound like a party book, unless you're Danish or an existentialist. His point was simple. Doubt and fear are part of being human. We can't escape them. Of course, we are lucky we don't have to sacrifice our son like Abraham. Or are we? Jung said the same thing. Anxiety is an archetype. The eternal struggle between action and hesitation. Don't quote me on that. In art, this plays out every day. You stand in front of a canvas and you hear two voices. One says, go for it, put the mark down. The other says, what if it's wrong? What if it ruins everything? That dialogue is the archetype of fear. And the leap, Kierkegaard called it the leap of faith, is to act anyway, with no guarantee. That's what painting is. Faith without certainty. Brushstroke after brushstroke, the practice in accepting doubt and doing it anyway. At some point, you look at the painting and smile. So what do you do when fear sits with you in the studio? You don't fight it, you play with it. Sometimes I grab a random brush or a color that makes no sense and just make a mark. Even a mistake on purpose. That's fun for me. Sometimes it looks stupid, sometimes it opens a door. Both are fine. The trick? You don't want fear to vanish. You move with it. I also lean into absurdity. A laughing old man in front of stripes. A clash of color that shouldn't work. That absurdity is freedom. And then there's resilience. From sports I learned this. Running a marathon isn't about removing pain. I have torn ligaments in my left knee, trust me. It's about building endurance about it. Art is the same. You don't erase anxiety, you outlast it. And sometimes you need to ruin a canvas on purpose. Slap it. Kidding, don't slap your paintings, or do. I once made a whole abstract series that started in anger with handprints. Do what you can with what you have. Even mistakes are raw material. Fear won't vanish, doubt won't disappear, but you can build a practice around them. Art is not about avoiding mistakes, it's about creating something beautiful through them. That's why I paint. Not because I'm fearless, but because I'm not. And I keep painting anyway. With time, I paint faster and think less. My daily sketches help. I'll talk about them another time. And who knows, maybe after another 16 years, I'll still be here scared painting away. Not a bad trade. And yes, the group that made more clay pots actually made the better works. The lesson? Consistency beats perfection. Always. If this resonated, share it with something who struggles with fear in their own work. And subscribe. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'll go stare at the canvas for an hour before actually painting something. Or maybe I'll watch some cats on Instagram.